How y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about Bret Hart ripping Bill Goldberg one more time and his ever-changing story that now he says Bill Goldberg cost him $15 million US, obviously. So the story goes obviously that Bill Goldberg's errant kick to Bret Hart's head at, I believe it was Starcade 2000 or Starcade 99 or something like that. Whatever the event was when he kicked Bret Hart in the head, it ended Bret Hart's career, and Bret has never been the same since. He had to retire. He had a stroke a couple of years later, which he blames the kick to the head for aiding in that. But now he's saying that Bill Goldberg cost him $15 million. So let's go through this article. It's right by Wrestling Inc. They're transcribing comments that Bret Hart made. So in the comments, they basically talk about that. Well, Bret's comments essentially say that Goldberg has always been a reckless worker, and that he says Goldberg was a gorilla. He was a guy nobody seemed to have taught how wrestling really works. He seemed to think that you could just pick a guy up and slam him through the mat as hard as you could, but that was good wrestling. I always liked Bill as a person, but his work rate was 0 out of 10. Everything he did hurt. Everything. He could tie you up with himself and hurt himself. He said Bill was one of those kinds of guys that I don't think ever understood it's supposed to look like it hurts, but it's not supposed to really hurt. He football tackle you with no pads on. He's all jacked up, roided up. He's about 280 pounds. You might as well have a real car drive on top of you. He line you up, run you down, knock you down, hurt guys. Guys would have tears in their eyes from how much pain they were in, and he was really reckless and dangerous guy to wrestle. Goldberg did a body slam to a guy named Haku, and he body slammed him straight down, head first, right into the ring, and Haku was out of wrestling, maybe ended his career. I know he got hurt with a neck injury, and he was out for a really long time. Goldberg was really dangerous to work with. You never knew what he was going to hurt you with. Everything he did was dangerous. So his stance on Goldberg has not changed. He said it at least once every couple of months. I think that it's like a clock that like the Karrion Kross clock where there's sand, and once the sand goes out, Bret Hart needs to go back out there and tell everybody that Bill Goldberg is completely reckless. But he added a new wrinkle to the story this time, and the new wrinkle to the story this time is that Goldberg's reckless kick cost him $15 million. So this is what he said about the Goldberg's kick costing him $15 million. He said, "If I hadn't got hurt when I did, they ended my contract. I hung on, and it wasn't quite a year, maybe 10 months. And then they sacked me. But WWE bought out WCW, and the guys that got paid out were Goldberg and Hogan. They both got paid out in full in their contract, what was owed to them by Ted Turner as part of their deal." Then he says, "I would have been part of that deal. I would have been paid out in full. I wouldn't have had to go back to and work for WWE. I wouldn't have to work for anybody. I would have cashed in and made $15 million. But because Bill Goldberg's kick ended my career, they terminated me 10 months after I got hurt, and I never got anything. My contract was null and void." So that's crazy. That's crazy. That's insane to think. Now, is Bret maybe exaggerating? I don't know. I think if somebody cost you $15 million, this wouldn't have been the first time you would have said it. Like, I don't remember Bret ever saying that Goldberg cost him this much money before. I know he's always blamed his career being over on like the first time I ever heard this story. It was Bill Goldberg kicked me in the head, ended my career. And then over the years it became Bill Goldberg kicked me in the head, it ended my career, and it caused me to have a stroke. Now it's Bill Goldberg kicked me in the head, it ended my career, caused me to have a stroke, and I lost $15 million. It's like this story just keeps getting more and more. It keeps ballooning, and I'm not saying that Bret is lying, but I'm saying is that he has really kind of ballooned the what happened from this kick. This kick was so tremendous that it knocked him out of the business, and it ended his career, and it gave him a stroke, and it cost him $15 million. Like, that's a tremendous, very expensive kick. And he said that Goldberg never apologized for it too. Like that was part of this as well, as that he said that Goldberg said it's the nature of the business. We never know what's going to happen out there. And look, Goldberg is a reckless performer. Everybody who saw clips of Bill Goldberg working in Saudi Arabia when he dropped the Undertaker on his head, Goldberg gave himself a concussion that night. Remember, he rammed his own head into the door and split his own head open. He's done stuff like that where he's so hyped up, he's so amped up that he doesn't know how to control his energy. And that's the part of what you love about him. And that's the part of what didn't work with him, you know, because it's similar to the Ultimate Warrior, where, you know, the Ultimate Warrior would get sometimes he would be so gassed that he couldn't really lift a guy over his head or something like that, and you know, stuff like that. And Goldberg was probably a little bit of the same, but I think Goldberg was just so excited. And, you know, nobody ever told him, because he didn't really supposed to have long matches. You know, the match was supposed to be short. But this is unfortunate. You know, if this is true, I don't see how, you know, Bret Hart hasn't hired like a hitman to, you know, end Bill Goldberg's career, because Goldberg is still threatening to show back up. I remember people were flipping out. They thought Goldberg was going to be on SmackDown. The October the 14th SmackDown, was it? 16th SmackDown? Yeah, October the 16th. They thought he was going to be on that SmackDown, so people spazzed out like, Goldberg, no! We don't want Goldberg out there! And I was like, Goldberg, cool. You know? Like, I'm on a tip where I'm just not going to flip out about Goldberg, you know? You know, I hated Goldberg more in, what was that, 2003 when he had his run? I hated him then, because I went back and watched that, because, again, I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. And I hated Goldberg in 98. You know, I wasn't a fan. But today, man, I fucks with Goldberg. He's cool. You know, he just has a cool factor. He has that energy. He has alpha energy. I fucks with it. Now, I 100% agree with Bret, though. You know, if you're clumsy and you can't work, or you're injuring people and injuring yourself, I'll never forget him for dropping Undertaker on his head. And, ooh, man, I wish I could have live streamed my reaction when I saw that. You know, Goldberg dropping Undertaker on the head, because Undertaker is my favorite wrestler ever. So when I saw Bill Goldberg drop Undertaker on his head, I wanted to fly to Saudi Arabia personally to kick Bill Goldberg in the dick, but it didn't. Thankfully, he walked away from it. Thankfully, they both walked away from it. But Goldberg is completely and totally reckless. And it's absolutely true. That's why you don't see him throw punches or kicks anymore. He just kind of does spears. You know, that's kind of it. But yeah, and his spears were physical. Like Bret talks about, you know, how guys will hold their ribs after that. Like, yeah, man, you probably saw some of those Bill Goldberg spears in WCW. Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy. Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's why everybody liked them, though. That's why everybody that's the fucked up thing. Like, people like stiff work. You know, the Japan stuff where, you know, Kota Ibushi is falling on his head all the time. Like, some people get upset by that, and they're like, what is this guy doing? And then other people are like, oh my God, that is so cool. Like, Kota Ibushi wants to bump his neck into sawdust. And then other people are like, Kota Ibushi's a fucking idiot, you know? I fall like right in the middle. Like, there are some bumps that are so fucking stupid you ain't got no business doing them. And then there's things that just look ugly, but it's probably quite safe. And, you know, I just kind of fall in the middle on that. But Goldberg should appeal to people who like stiff work. His shit was just sloppy. You know, and that's just kind of the truth, is that it was sloppy. But it was also a thing that maybe, you know, Bret was supposed to protect himself, which is usually the thing. I saw somebody made a comment earlier about guys not knowing how to protect themselves from kicks. Let me go see if I can find it. All right, I couldn't find anything. But it was a topic the other day, but about somebody they didn't know how to protect themselves from errant kicks. But you know, you have to be more careful, and guys need to be better trained. I remember Bret got on Seth Rollins about this injuring people stuff. That seems to be his thing ever since he was retired. He's always been kind of anal about wrestlers that have been reckless or that are being inconsiderate, and I appreciate it. You know, this guy's a true professional, always has been. You know, as much as he didn't like certain people, he never went out there to hurt anybody. He never hurt anybody. So And nobody ever said that he was lying, that he actually did hurt them. So it was pretty cool, you know. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Like this video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, donate if you can, and I'll talk to you guys later.